Very excited to welcome my next guest. I used to watch her in the Mummy movies. She's amazing. She's also an author, and as well as an actress, she's also a model. Please welcome Patricia Velasquez. How are you?
Thank you, Adam. How are you? Don't model so much anymore, but thank you for the compliment.
It's okay. Listen, you know what? I gotta pay homage to all the things you've done and still are doing. You never seem to amaze me. I keep track of on your Instagram all the things you're doing. Actually, especially your charitable work. I know that for the longest time you've been doing a lot of charitable work. You want to discuss some of the stuff you're doing for that, and
Sure.
maybe if the audience doesn't know about it, yeah, I'd love to hear about it.
Thank you so much. We started the Wayutaya Foundation in New York many, many years ago, but after 20 years, it seems like our foundation has become the biggest conduit on humanitarian aid into Venezuela. So, we have many sustainable programs on water distribution, education, medical distribution of medicine and supplies, agriculture, sustainable agriculture, and our latest project, which we're so excited about, is it's a music program. And because we're right on the border for the indigenous, I mean, our mission is to help the Latin American indigenous communities, and we're right on the border between Venezuela and Colombia, where there's an indigenous group called YU, which is where I'm from. And by doing so many of these programs, Venezuela has the biggest refugee crisis in the world right now. We're above Ukraine and we're above Syria. So, I mean, we can't tell anyone you should stay, but definitely when you're doing these programs, where like the music program now, it's really helping for families to not want to leave the country, and then also helps with human trafficking and slavery, and all the horrible things that happen when families migrate into this terrible, like the Darien jungle between Colombia and Panama, that people go through, and thousands of people have died because of it. So it's a work that has really filled my life, and we're very much aware that at some point sustainability is the key, and empowering communities to just bring hope back to themselves, and is kind of taking over my life. Really.
That's awesome. I really respect that and admire that about you because, you're using your talents for the right reasons. You're putting yourself out there and you're inspiring other people because I'm sure when you post about it or you preach your message, it makes other people want to do the same thing you're doing. And I think that's the key because look, at the end of the day, one person can't solve all of this, right? Everybody needs to
Yeah.
kind of, collectively get together and make a difference in this world. I think you're one of the few people that actually does that, and it's very admirable. And how has that whole thing affected your personal and professional life, just doing all these amazing things?
Thank you, Adam. Sometimes I feel that when problems, there's so many things happening in the world, right? And it is our tendency to not want to look at things because we're already dealing with our own stuff that at home, our realities, our communities. And then sometimes when our instinct as humans is to want to help, is to want to do something about something. And but sometimes you think, oh, we don't have money, or we don't have enough money to give, and then all I would say to you that you're watching or listening is, don't complicate your life so much. It's, all it takes. They say that all that it takes to make a difference in someone's lives is to help one person. If you for someone to actually find joy and peace in their lives, is for one person to believe in them. So maybe you can be that person. Just focus on one person. You don't have to make things so big, then it becomes overwhelming. And how has it affected my life? Tremendously. Because it seems, when we have a phenomenal team of people working in our community. And I do have to say, we have quite a few Canadians, and I love them. Love you guys. I
Thank you
really,
very much.
them. And so, and it at some point, it seems like this community it's like this horse that started running, and I can't stop it now. and it's grown so much. And of course, it takes tremendous amount of time. But I realized that, being a mother is the most important thing in my life. And then obviously my career as an actor. But I realized that when you organize yourself, especially when you're a mom, you tend to really be very effective. So you just organize yourself in a way where you go, okay, I have this amount of hours, and you tell the team, and then this is what needs to be done. And then when I go off on a shoot, the team has to kind of solve situations. And that is the most empowering thing for me, because I don't want the foundation to be dependent on me. I want the foundation to be free to operate whether I'm there or not. And that in every aspect, from raising funds to operations to solving problems, all of it. So in that, I can see daily that is happening more and more, that I'm not doing this anymore, and they're doing it. And it's so great. It makes you feel so good. You realize, and let me tell you, Adam, once you start doing this work, and I heard one of the most wonderful men I've ever met. His name is Frank Justra, and he's actually Canadian. And I heard him on stage once saying, when you start this journey of helping, it becomes an addiction. And I thought, oh my God, Frank, you're so right. It does becomes an addiction, a wonderful addiction. And it also makes you feel that you belong to a community. And it brings people to your life that are on that same wavelength of thinking. And so you walk around life feeling great, feeling peaceful. But at the end of the day, I think that's all we want.
Yeah, well, it's really funny you mention that. It's like when people when they work out, they go to the gym and they get addicted because they see results. So they want to keep doing more and become in better shape or become healthier, right? Same in this case. When you help people or you're doing all the amazing things that you're doing and you see the results, right? Slowly by slowly, you're seeing that you're helping people, putting a smile on their face, making a difference. That's the addiction, because you go, I just changed somebody's life. I want to keep doing it. And then that's the addiction right there. It's funny when you mention that if you help one person, that's all that, like, because you said not to overcomplicate it for people. I always make it my mission, and I don't tell people when I do it because they say not to do it, like not to tell people, but I always try to do one good deed a day. I always do it, and I document it every single day in my book.
That's so great.
I wish I had it here. Like, it's at my house. I'm not in my house right now, I'm in my studio, but I have a book where I actually write like my daily, and I'm not
That's
perfect.
A great tip. That's a great tip, actually. Write down. That's a good one.
Oh yeah. I just thought about it. I was like, I'm gonna give it a shot. Yeah, because I thought, listen, I'm not perfect. There's some days I miss because just I get busy. I get work happens. But even if the days I do miss it, I always just try to be a good person, nice to people, respectful. I'm not here to do anything different. This is who I am. So no, I appreciate that. And also another thing I wanted to touch upon, it was really interesting because forgive me if I'm pronouncing it wrong, the Wayuu tribe, is that how you say it?
Wayuu community. Wayuu community.
Yeah. I know that. So you're working alongside that, but also about the indigenous people that you're also working with as well, correct?
Well, the Wayuu are indigenous.
They're indigenous, correct? Yeah.
So the Wayuu are, that's because that's where I'm from. I am in the Wayuu community. They are half in Venezuela, half in Colombia. But I wanted to tell you, in relationship to what you said about yourself, that I need to bring it up. It is true. You are very respectful. You're very determined. And for all of you who are hearing us, Adam has been so respectfully finding his guests and people to come on the show for months. He doesn't give up. He's always respectful, and he's always had that. He always, in every single one of his emails because I've read them, to the managers requesting the interviews, he's a very fine line between pushing too much and then having the artist go like this, and it is a perfect balance. And for that, I have to tell you in public, because you're doing a great job.
Oh,
you really are.
That means a lot to me. You know what? Because I've been wanting to get you on for so long, and I know, you have so many things going on, and it means a lot because I try to. Sometimes I do feel like I'm a little bit of a bothersome when I reach out to people, but I'm very determined, because like if I want something, I don't stop until I get it. And I've interviewed quite a bit. I'm not sure if you've ever seen my other ones, but I've
Yes,
interviewed
for sure I
yeah,
have.
yeah, like
And
Danny Trejo, Luis
I
Guzman.
work watching Danny was the thing that made me go, okay, I should do it. Because I know Danny, I did my first ever movie with him.
Yeah.
My first ever movie. And I'll give you a little I don't even know if I think I might have said this in the past, but we shot a movie called Le Jaguar, which was the most expensive production ever made in France.
Mhm.
In this movie of a French film, but it was, I mean, when the movie actually came out, it was bigger than Mission Impossible.
Ooh.
So here I go to the Amazon in Brazil and also in Venezuela to shoot my first ever movie, and Danny was playing the bad guy. I'm the good girl, and there was a Jean Reno, the guy that played in The Professional. He was also in the movie.
Yes, yeah.
Um, yeah, and my first ever scene was for a movie ever was with Danny, and I had to come in because he played the bad guy and break a bottle on his head. That was the first ever scene I've ever done of a film. So we start action. I take this, don't break the bottle, and then cut. And guess what? I did break his head. There was some imperfection with the way the bottle needed to break that it didn't. So until he started bleeding. I was like, oh my gosh, can't do this again. And Danny was like, come on, this is nothing. I was like, oh
Yeah,
my
he's an
God.
that Danny Trejo, I always say it, he's one of the most badass guys in the world. Like he's like a piece of iron. Like nothing can harm him. Like even
Yeah.
when I was speaking to him about when he saved that baby from a car that was like trapped,
Yes, yes, yes,
it's
yes.
like this guy, he's the modern Superman. I always say it to everybody, he's a modern
I
Superman.
like that word. I like that description. You know, Danny has a heart of gold, and he's
Yeah.
been so much himself that if anybody really appreciates what they have, and also how important is in getting that same satisfaction of giving and making a difference. I mean, he's so present in Los Angeles and the community here because this is where he's, from. That he's a guy from the community. He's
Mhm.
everybody really cares for him here.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I really admire him. I still try to keep in touch with him here and there. And going back as well to the about the indigenous people too, because I know Martin Scorsese just released the trailer for Killers of the Flower Moon. I'm not sure if you saw it yet, but
No.
I really like that he's including an indigenous lead actress in that movie and just the whole community about it. Have you heard about that film at all or anything about it?
I'm so sorry. No, I have not. But now when we hang up, I will make sure I
Yeah,
look.
check it out because actually you know what, since I have it, I'll quickly just read the description because it's based on a true story. I want to just see if maybe you've heard about the story at all. Um, in the 1920s, members of the Osage Native American tribe of Osage County, Oklahoma, are murdered
Also,
after oil is found on their land, and the FBI decide to investigate. So, yeah, it's basically about how their land was stolen from them, how they were murdered. So I like I've always been a Martin Scorsese fan, but I really like how he's doing this, shedding light on this because I really think that it's especially nowadays, with all the bad stuff happening in the world, people have to be informed of these things that happened, even if it happened 100 years ago. It's real, it happened, and we can't ignore it. So that's something I wanted to just say.
well, I'll take a look, but definitely the story of indigenous communities being, uh, I mean, is happening as we speak in the Amazon with a lot of, there's so with indigenous communities in the Amazon that have been moved from their land because there are natural resources. That is a theme that has been brought over and over again. Now, when someone like Scorsese does it's so great because you are shedding a light on it when you can use your art to bring a message. Because again, as we were saying before, we don't want to look at things that are happening outside so much anymore. I think after COVID and with just the way of the world, in a way. So when you can, the best way to relate a message is usually through entertainment. And I mean, Scorsese is a master on his craft, so I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I just like to see representation, and I even I follow John Leguizamo as well. I know he preaches a lot about Latin Americans, actors being in film more. I think nowadays they are being representing more culturally through all walks of life. But do you find that it is getting better now with representation, whether it's, for Latin Americans or just anybody in general?
I think so. I think that, I mean, certainly with streaming, things have gotten a little more open. There are many more shows and also many more opportunities to develop shows. So at the end of the day, Adam, look, nobody's going to create the dream role for you that is the one you dream. I mean, yeah, there might be some fantastic opportunities, but you're really truly the only person that can do that. So I would suggest for anyone that's listening to us, just if you're in the business, just go out, write or find someone that can help you write it, and try to go out there and pitch your own shows, because I think that is the key. And now again, there's so many venues that you don't even need someone to actually do it for you, because you can even do it yourself. So just don't. We have to stop thinking that the best way and the only way is network or is the movie theaters, because that is a great way, of course, but there are many venues now, many venues. And a lot of the time, that also gives you much more freedom of doing whatever it is that you want to put out there in the screen.
Well said. And I don't know if you can see my head's covering it, but I got the Mummy poster over there because it's
Yes.
one of my favorite movies of all time. That and The Mummy Returns. And I just gotta say, like, a big part of why I'm such a big fan is your portrayal of a Naxuna moon in the movies. I just gotta know if I want to know what Patricia Velasquez would do if she found a cursed artifact like the one in the Mummy. What would you do?
Like if I found a what?
Like a cursed artifact, like the one that yeah, like the one in the movie.
Well, I mean, Patricia would not worry about it, because I think that, yeah, I believe in energy for sure. I think things definitely have energy, but I also think and believe that we are the ones that can give power to that energy. Otherwise, my goodness, we would live in a really weird world. So wouldn't worry about it too much. Now, if Mila or Anixonamu will find another one, definitely would use it for her own benefit, and that's really it. But when you think about um, both of these characters, they were just fighting for love. That she just really wanted the mommy back. Uh, the thing is that her choices along the way were not the right choices to make. But this is a woman that was fighting for love, and that's really what she did. And I think that's what was so appealing about her, that made people like her in a way. She just made the wrong choices, especially at the end.
Oh, for sure. Well, that's why I think these movies still hold a special place in my heart and everybody else's, is because of that reason. It's not just your typical action adventure movie. It's a love story. And I think,
Yeah.
like, you look at even a movie like Titanic, for example, right? Titanic, obviously the Rose and Jack story is not real, but I mean, it's funny. Up until like a couple years ago, I thought it was real, which is really funny. But that's what makes it interesting. People like to see romance, and even though Imhotep and Aksunamun were villains, it's
Yeah.
more like you still get interested. You still want to get into why, like why is she doing this, or why did he do this? And it's all out of love at the end of the day, as crazy as it was. So yeah.
I sometimes think we try to dig so deep into finding some things, but at the end of the day, the truth is simple, and that's it. The
I like
truth
that.
is simple. When something is truthful, it's simple. So that's really what happened with that film. We all work very hard in that film, and if there's something that I can tell you that I learned from that film is I was in Los Angeles, and look, I work very hard. I study tremendously, and I work every day, even 25, almost 30 years later. I mean, that's 20 something years later, in my career, but sometimes there are certain things that happen that really might change your life. Like for me with the mummy, I was just in Los Angeles. My agent told me that she wanted me to go and see this. He told me that he wanted me to go and see this casting director at Universal. Her name is Joanna Colbert. And I just went to see her at a meeting, a regular meeting, had no idea that she was actually checking me out for this film. That was it. So, and then the day after, I hear I'm going to London to shoot this movie called The Mummy. It was like no audition, no. It was just like that. And when I get to it, it all happened so fast that when I got there, I didn't even imagine that film was going to be that big, and that I had stepped into such a big production. So it taught me definitely how important is to be kind to people all the time. And I have learned along the way that you need to be kind to everybody. And especially, I mean, she wasn't an assistant, she was a casting director, but I give you a tip, especially to assistants, because sometimes they make or break the deals. They're the ones, always consider assistants as your friends, as your best friends, because they have so much power in their hands. And that's just simply talking about business and trying to get things moving along. That's a big one. And then after that, I just went back to do The Mummy Returns, and then the work that we put into it, like that scene of the fight, for example, that's such a classic, right? That fight
Oh,
scene.
yeah, with
Rachel,
you and Evelyn, right?
yeah, with me and Rachel, that scene, that was not supposed to, because it's such a big film and it goes so fast, it wasn't really supposed to be us fighting. That's why the scene is, you're supposed to have a mask on, because it was supposed to be our stunts. But Rachel and I got so into it, we trained so hard, that by the time it came to shoot, it was us doing it. I did every stunt except my backflip. And we were training for weeks, hours every day. So, and it became very competitive, healthy, in a healthy way though, in that show. So at the end of the day, the fact that movie has become a classic, I think for all of us that were involved in the film, it's very special that we were a part of those films, that they still play over and over again, and they're classics.
Oh yeah, I watched them. They're movies you can constantly watch. Like I watched The Mummy and The Mummy Returns. I'm not even exaggerating when I say it's probably over 20 or 30 times in my life. So I watch it all the time. I think in the past month I watched it like 3 times with my girlfriend, with my parents, with my friends. It's just like it's just so much fun to watch. And you know what? Every time I watch it, I don't know if you ever do this with movies, but I always try to change the outcome. It's like, oh, I wonder if like this can change, but it's like it's a movie. It's already whatever happens, it's just gonna happen. But I always try to be like, no, maybe this time this will change or something. Maybe
It's
this won't happen.
I don't do that with the movies, but I tell you where I do it, how I do it, and I trained my brain to do it is with dreams. Uh,
Oh,
when I get woken up with a bad dream, I force myself to close my eyes, whether I'm truly fully asleep or not, and I'm pretending to be asleep, and I give it the outcome that I wanted to have. Because otherwise, it just affects me too much.
yeah,
And
no, yeah, you're right. I gotta learn to do that. If you have any tips or tricks, let me know. 'Cause
well, just close your eyes and imagine, go back to that exactly horrible moment where you were going through, and then give it a different ending. And then once it's done, then I give myself permission, even if I'm awake, to then get out of bed.
so we were talking about The Mummy, and I know the whole casting. Like, I've watched interviews. Everyone seems so lovely. Obviously Brendan Fraser, who was one of my like childhood heroes. I just love everything he's done. He just recently won an Oscar for The Whale. And obviously he was a guy that did comedies, action, adventure movies, but he really stepped into such a unique diverse role that really touched the hearts of many. And I just want to know what your thoughts on his performance were, if you've seen the film, or I'm sure you've heard about it.
Absolutely. I watched the film a few times actually. It's very special and very inspirational for me to see Brendan step into such a difficult shoes, and kudos to Darren, the director, because he's a phenomenal director. And I for a while we didn't hear about Brendan, and I know that that was extremely hard for him or for any actor that has experienced amount of success and then suddenly everything kind of is gone.
Yeah.
I think we all actors can relate to it, all of us. So to see him stepping back in such a challenging character, so raw and so mature and vulnerable, and there are not enough recognitions. There's not enough recognition ever for that incredible performance that he gave. And again, kudos to Darren, because you can only do that work. You can't do that alone. You have to have a great director to make sure that you have full trust in each other to be able to create such a safe space. And of course, the rest of the cast. I mean, it was what a wonderful movie and what a wonderful performance.
Oh,
Like,
that is nice to hear. That's so awesome. I hope he watches this interview one day. Then he'll see the nice stuff you say, because you're awesome. You're full of such inspiration and just like good vibes. I love talking to you. And I guess if there's one piece of advice you'd give to your fans, what would it be? If you had to just say something to everybody watching.
Adam, thank you so much. Look, there's so many advices that I can give to you, fan, or anybody really who's watching. I guess the first and probably the most important thing is to not worry so much. And not worry so much, because the universe is always looking out for you. And sometimes, especially nowadays with social media, we want instant gratification. We want things, we have no patience. And just know that just take a breath. It's okay. You don't need to go too crazy. It will whatever it is that you're looking for, if it's the right thing for you and you're taking the right actions, there's no reason for it not to happen. And then the second thing I will tell you is we have to try and stop comparing ourselves to others, because it's okay to look at you or look at somebody else from a place of like, I want to be like that, or admiration. But trust me, the fullest and best potential and the biggest manifestation of who you want to be is in yourself. If you try to imitate other people, it's not going to work out. But if you try to just find the good qualities in other people that you admire and apply them to yourself, but find within you, whether it's physical or spiritual or the actions you take for work, then that's where you are really going to find true success.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Patricia. I appreciate you coming on today. It was a blast talking to you and getting to know you. I hope we could do it again sometime. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you so much. You're a sweetheart. And
Thank
I
you.
will soon. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a great day. Okay.